I just want Democrats to stop acting like they are on this moral high ground politically when they have shown us they're not.
But to come out and to start talking about how it's been a witch hunt and the Department of Justice and others were after him, or whoever it was, and, you know, the GOP rather was after him. Well, wait a minute. What have y'all been doing with Donald Trump all of these years?
You know what? It's amazing that you hear them say things like this, and then it makes you wonder, why did y'all vote for them then? How are you guys all doing? Welcome to the channel. I'm Ty Smith. You're watching my channel, Modern Renaissance Man. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to view my content. So make sure that you're following me on all the platforms you see above and below. Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's spelled wrong up there on Rumble, but it's supposed to be spelled like that, just in case. Thank y'all for letting me know and looking out. I keep forgetting to say things like that in my intro, but yeah, the way that it's spelled up there in Rumble, I know it's misspelled, but that is the correct spelling. If y'all follow me, like, it's not spelled right, but it is spelled right. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. That way my content can be circulated to you and constantly recommended to you, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, also, when you do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification. That way you'll be notified when I do post videos in theory. Okay, got to talk about this because, you know, Stephen A has been a voice definitely among blacks when it comes to sports, and he's carried over into doing his own thing on podcasts. So not only is he talking sports, he's talking life situations. So, you know, needless to say, he got the ears of a lot of blacks along with Charlamagne and God, and they say some things that I may not agree with, and they say things that I do agree with. But in this particular case, it's interesting to me, the things that they say, and it just makes you wonder, like, if you saying all this, then how what, Ty? I'll tell you after this.
I wasn't thinking about it, but Hunter was singled out because he broke the law. It's not because he was the president's son. I just want Democrats to stop acting like they are on this moral high ground politically. They have shown us they're not. Skipping the primary process when Biden stepped down. Stop acting like y'all the pure party and Republicans aren't. Elected officials can do whatever they want as long as they have the political will and courage to do it.
What's your take on the pardon?
You know, the Biden situation disgusted me in terms of the parting only from this standpoint, Chris. Nobody on the planet, you want to be a cynic and you want to act like you would be offended by something like that if you're one of those people out there, fine. But no one within reason would have a problem with him saying, it's my son. I love him. There's no way I'm sending him to jail. And I have the power to avoid it. Nobody would blame him for that. But that's not where he went. So I didn't have a problem to answer your question directly with the decision that he made to pardon his son. Boo-Boo the Fool knew he was going to do that. I don't care who he stood in front of or sat in front of and said that he wasn't going to pardon his son and he was just going to go by the letter of the law. Please, everybody and their grandmother knew he was going to pardon his son. But to come out and to start talking about how it's been a witch hunt and the Department of Justice and others were after him, or whoever it was, and, you know, the GOP rather was after him. Well, wait a minute. What have y'all been doing with Donald Trump all of these years? Now, you can make an argument about the legitimacy of the cases against Donald Trump compared to what wasn't legitimate, etc. That's not the point. The point is it was clearly politicized. You had folks on the left who were hell-bent on going after Donald Trump because they were determined to make sure that he couldn't run for re-election or that these elements would get in the way of him possibly winning re-election. And now we know why more than ever, because they weren't confident they would ever be able to beat him. He'd been a Republican nominee since 2016. He beat Hillary Clinton with the Electoral College vote. He wouldn't concede defeat in 2020, but he did receive over 74 million votes at that particular moment in time. And then you fast forward 4 years later, despite the 34 felony convictions, the 2 impeachments, the bevy of crimes that he had been accused of, the Republican voters out there, the conservative voters out there, and a lot of independents from various communities said, he's the guy we want, and I've said it on many, many occasions. It wasn't about him. Just like it wasn't about Biden in 2020, it was more against Trump. In this particular instance, it was an indictment against the Biden administration, what had been going on for the last 4 years. Some of the things going on with the border, obviously inflation, of course, crime in the streets, of course, woke and cancel culture and all of that, it all played a role. And so for him to come out and to talk about that this was a witch hunt when clearly it could be argued that's exactly what you were doing to Donald Trump, or you assisted in doing, seems beyond hypocritical. And that was what disgusted me. It wasn't his decision. It wasn't him pardoning his son. It was the weak, pathetic explanation that he gave, which has most critics just shaking their heads and raising their eyebrows and saying, what nerve you have.
See what I'm saying? Charlamagne can say all of that. Stephen A can say that as well. But yet at the same time, Stephen A, well, I'm still not voting for Trump. I won't vote for Trump. And Charlamagne, I'm not voting for Trump. I mean, he's a fascist. He's a fascist. He's a fascist. But why? You see what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all right now, I might be jumping the gun when I say this, but I'm just going to make the assumption. I got the right to do it. I can be wrong on this. Charlamagne the God and Stephen A. Smith both will end up turning and saying things in a way just enough to stay on the good gracious, because you know, and y'all all seen what happened to a lot of left-wing media, a lot of far radical left podcasters. People completely left them, like completely unsubscribed, stopped following them, just jumped ship. They were done with a lot of left-wing podcasts, left-wing media, left-wing content creators. They were completely done with them. But now I'm just like telling y'all the truth. It seems like a lot of folks are saying just the right thing, or saying just enough to kind of keep their listeners there. But again, in this particular case, I have no idea how Charlamagne can say what he said, how Stephen A can say what he said, and yet they still voted for Biden. They were still going to vote for, no, Todd, they voted for Kamala. No, they had it for Biden. Biden. And then with Kamala Harris, who you guys didn't even select, got pushed on you guys, and you were told this is your person. Y'all jump behind her like she was the best thing since sliced bread. And look how that turned out. Complete disaster. Not only did she got a historic amount of money. Oh, she got $1 billion. Look what Kamala Harris did. And now they're in debt, having to do fundraisers and stuff like that to beg you, the American people, for money so they can pay their actual staff, when they sat there and completely ludicrously spent money on celebrities and all that without even paying their real staff. And this is going to be the person that was going to be over the United States. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys all think by putting it in the comments below after this video. And, you know, you don't have to agree with everything they say, but you know, people, like I said, I have folks that are Democrats that say things that I agree with, and they say things that I don't agree with, and vice versa. Same way with me. They agree with some things that say they don't agree. But what gets me is that when we actually get down to the truth of the matter of it, I'm still trying to figure out how is it that they can vote for a particular person or a particular way of life. But then again, all of us are different. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think again by putting it in the comment section after this video. Do you agree with Stephen A? Do you agree with Charlamagne? Do you think they just kind of playing the game right now to keep themselves afloat because they know a lot of people are leaving left-wing media and left-wing podcasts, et cetera, et cetera? Whatever the case may be, you guys all let me know, okay? Don't forget to do what you see in that cloud right there, if you would, please. I am Ty Smith, the Modern Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. Most of all, pray every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.